principles of right hand fingerstyle technique on the guitar. Number one, mostly straight wrist, but a 10-degree drop or arc in the wrist is okay. Okay, so the left hand, it's possible to get a really totally straight wrist, but actually if you're holding the guitar properly and you're relaxed, gravity will tend to push this wrist angle down just slightly, and so just about that much is acceptable, but more than that is not. Okay, and definitely don't anchor the wrist on the instrument like this, on the bridge or anything like that, unless you're going for a special palm muting sort of pizzicato technique. So number one, straight wrist, but a 10-degree drop or arch is okay. Number two, relax your shoulders. Just like in the left-hand technique, the shoulder is very important because it influences the feeling of the rest of the arm and the muscles in the rest of the arm. So pay special attention to relaxing the shoulder and really drop that weight. Sometimes, if you're fully relaxed, some people with not very good circulation or smaller muscles can feel like their circulation is being cut off by this bout of the guitar because there's so much weight in that forearm. A couple ways to solve that: get a small pad. Some guitars even have a forearm guard here, or some people will wear a sleeve on the right forearm. So that's actually can be a good indication that you are fully relaxed if you're getting that feeling of weight on the forearm there. All right, and then number three for fingerstyle is anchor the thumb on a nearby string. This is extremely important. The thumb goes where the fingers go, okay? Either needs to be one string away or two strings away. That's personal preference. I personally use one string away. But the point is, if you leave your thumb behind and you start, let's say, playing a scale like this, let's say, so my thumb there remained on the sixth string the entire time, even when I ascended. And you'll notice that the distance from this distance inside my right hand expands as I play the scale. And so what's happening is the feeling in my right hand is inconsistent for different parts of the scale. It's changing. And so by the end of the scale, I'm really feeling like I'm reaching quite far to get to this string. And that feeling of reaching is really not good for training the subconscious technique on the instrument. So you always want to keep as many things as consistent as possible. Keep the distance between the fingers and the hand consistent when you're playing. So the thumb has to follow those fingers, okay? So the way that happens is it hops along with them. So for example, if I play the scale again, I'll play, my thumb starts on the low E string, strike, strike, and then when I ascend to this next string, to the D string, my thumb is going to come to the fifth. And finally, when I ascend to the third string, my thumb is now going to jump to one string behind again, fourth string. Okay, it may seem like a lot of work at first, but subconsciously it just becomes second nature if you learn how to follow with the thumb. Notice that the way that I do this is I hinge from the elbow, okay? So I don't consciously pick it up and hop, okay? I'm hinging from my elbow and my elbow does it for me. So when you are playing a scale or an ascending run on the guitar, you will cut a small diagonal angle across the sound hole. So if I start, let's say I'm starting in the middle of the sound hole and I'm playing this scale, a G scale. Oops. All right, so I cut a small angle. I start here, and then by the time I'm finishing the scale, I'm about here. So I'm cutting this angle, and that's how it becomes sort of automatic, is I don't have to think too much about hopping with the thumb as so much as I just hinge from the elbow and gravity does it for me. When you are playing on the lowest string, there's no other string to anchor on below, so you just anchor on the body of the guitar nearby. Not too far, this is crazy, okay? But close by, sort of imagining like if you had a seventh string, okay? And as soon as you're off that sixth string, the thumb goes to a string. Finally, sideways slice into the palm, okay? Every strike on the right hand in classical fingerstyle is like a squeeze, okay? A squeeze. And prior to the squeeze, you dip and push into the guitar, okay? So many people don't understand this concept. I see many players lift, which is very bad, from underneath the string, lift the string up, and then release vertically like this. Not only does I get that terrible snap sound, okay, against this string rebounding against the fret, but it's very slow. It's very slow to have to grip underneath the string and then pull up and then release, okay? It's much more efficient and gets a much more beautiful tone if you press down into the instrument. By down, I mean imagine like you're holding the instrument like this. Down is this way, into the guitar, okay? Inside the guitar. So I'm pressing into the sound hole and then squeezing into my palm, okay? If I were to exaggerate that stroke, really my finger should almost follow through all the way and touch the inside of my palm. That's very exaggerated. That doesn't actually happen, but that's the direction of travel, okay? Squeezing into the palm. Notice that my hand does not come up and out at all, okay? The wrist and the forearm are like an immobile sort of servo arm, okay, that just gets the fingers to their location, and it absolutely needs to remain, for the most part, motionless so that the fingers can sense a consistent position to do their job. Those are the rules for right hand fingerstyle technique.